Hey everybody, it's Ricky from All Sorts of Words. Welcome back. I'm saying welcome back because you definitely should have already seen part one if you've clicked on this video. If you haven't, then great, the algorithm's doing something cool. But you really should go watch part one. That includes all of my fifis about meeting up with Mike from Lunch Money Comics and the day that we had. Well, really what instigated the day that we had. In the first part, we went to Nick's comic strip and I found a lot of really cool stuff. And I kind of alluded to this next part being the big one. And hey, that video did really well. And then I got this comment right here. And I thought about it. They're absolutely right. There wasn't a lot of Mike in that video, aside from that one like glory shot of me sweeping over the comic rack and then him just smiling and holding up like a shitty X-Men book. So that's a growth opportunity for me. I fell in love with the filmmaking aspect of running a YouTube channel. The content and talking about comics is fun, but I really fell in love with like making little short films and shit like that. In the very beginning of all this YouTube stuff, I watched a video about how to make YouTube videos, like how to do this stuff, right? There were a couple different options that this dude explained. One of which was you can explain things from your own perspective. Like you're just kind of being a teacher, like, hey, here's a thing, and then here's what you should know about it. But then there's also like the storyteller version where you, the person, experienced stuff and now you're sharing those experiences with the rest of the world. That's the type of YouTuber that I want to be. I want to go out, do a thing, and come back and report to y'all. You know what I mean? But that comment got me thinking, and this is a growth opportunity for me. I need to do more filming where it's just me and people talking and having a good time. And I do want to include that content, but on the whole, the reason why Mike wasn't really in that video so much is because this is where I shine. This is where I get to do what I want to do on YouTube. I get to be me and tell stories and have fun that way. So although you do see clips of me going on hauls and stuff, I do need to work long term on getting those conversations caught on film. Does that make sense, comment guy? I hope it does. Thanks for commenting, by the way. Appreciate it. Believe it or not, I did get at least one clip of me and him bantering. Let's check it out. We have this weird crisscross applesauce connection. I'm not docking. Maybe. Wrong clip, wrong clip. So on this second leg of the trip, we went to a flea market and then we went to a like actual comic book store. The flea market was called This. I'm saying this because I couldn't be fucked to try to memorize it before I reported back to you guys and started recording. And the comic book store was called That's Entertainment. That I remember that vividly because it was the biggest haul of the day. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk about the flea market first and show you that haul clip next. And then I'll show you the footage from That's Entertainment. And then I'll show you the haul stuff after that. Does that make sense? Okay, so I like flea markets now that I'm in my 30s because there seems to be this like 50-year span that a flea market encapsulates. It's today and 50 years back. So when I was a kid and going to flea markets with my parents, all of the stuff in the flea market was stuff they liked when they were kids. It was their nostalgia. And I vividly remember them being like, oh, look at this headless Barbie. I had this headless Barbie. Now when we, as adults, if you're in your 30s and you go to a flea market, you can find like anime figures and shit all over the place, but it's our nostalgia now, which is what I'm saying. So if you're in your 30s, if you're in your 40s now, flea markets are the place to be. You'll find so much stuff that you can enjoy. I didn't get a lot from this flea market, but let's jump into the footage and then afterwards we'll do the recap real quick.
Dude,
Yeah.
is that the
Well,
there's a
it's
couple
it.
dolphin homages, right?
The Barbie run is actually all low print, all of it.
All of it, right?
Oh, they have the old Dragonlance books. Legends, Fables. They're the original?
Dragon's awesome.
Yeah, Dragons of Autumn Twilight, Spring, Winter Night, and Spring Dawning. There's a 6 series. Superman VHS. Oh yeah, that's cool. The old Fleischman cartoon.
Yeah.
Do you know the story of that?
No.
2 brothers were animators, and they were approached with a company who had secured the license for Superman. And they said, they don't want to do it. We don't want to do this. And they kept being persistent, the company that had the rights. And so they said, just give them an unrealistic, ridiculous number for how much we want to charge to make this production. And then they went, okay. So that's why it's a crazy fluid animation that is unusual.
Because
even
they just had a huge budget.
because they had the sickest, biggest budget of all time. Okay, so here is the first thing I got from that flea market. This is the Further Adventures of Batman, 14 all-new adventures of the Caped Crusader. And these are the authors included inside. Isaac Asimov, Ed Gorman's one that I know. Honestly, a lot of these older authors that I'm unfamiliar with, and I rely on stuff like this to be gateway drugs to those old authors. But this is just a celebration of Batman stories. So to celebrate the 50th anniversary of his creation, 15 of today's greatest writers of fantastic fiction have joined together to take you inside the world of shadows and fear in an all-new tale of mystery, humor, horror, and the supernatural. These are your guides through the Further Adventures of Batman. I thought this was way too cool, and I'm really stoked about reading this. This will be a fun one. But I also got this, and you can see this on Mike's video. Here we go. What's cool about this book, if you ever see this Valentine's Day special in the wild, is it looks like a normal comic book, right? But in the middle, there are actual Valentines, like old school, elementary school style to and from DC branded Valentines with all these puns on them, like, you put a hex on me, say the magic word, and I'm yours. Let's make a splash, Valentine. How great is that? Swamp Thing complaining about not being brought flowers. I get a side kick out of you. It would have been nicer if there was like a dick reference. You've got grace and beauty. That's okay. That's a good pun, but like, tell me it wouldn't have been better if it was like, come get this dick or something like that. So if you see these in the wild, you should absolutely grab them. I also found this first issue, More or Less, Dog Boy Werewolf Bikers. This is purely a cover and concept buy. I'm way too stoked on this book. This is a great book to just hang up in your house. Look how cool that is. Okay, send the kids to bed. This one's a little sexy. Xenoscope Oz #1. This looks like an evil Wicked Witch of the West kind of variant. I have no idea what the story is. I'm sure with these indie books and the sexy girls on them, there's like 11,000 different versions of this cover, but it is what it is. I also found a Vampirella Virgin 1 in 10, Sacred 6. This isn't a specifically vampy book. This is a team book by Dynamite Comics. These are the members of the team, the Sacred Six, and they added Vampirella to the team to give it a little bit more star power, I think, to move it. I found this silvery, foily, I want to make sure this shows up on camera, Lady Death issue. It's in really great condition. These covers get scuffed to holy hell. So when you find a good copy, grab it. And I didn't own it, so glory be. And then last but not least from the flea market, Crypt of Dawn #2. It's a Linsner cover. I'm slowly building my Dawn collection, and if I can find them for $3.50, close to even cover price back for when it came out, I'm building these. I have her first appearance. I have her whole volume 2 series, but I'm filling it in as I go. I want to find her in the wild. Although neither of us found a tremendous amount at the flea market, I did get this really cool clip of Mike finding something actually super special. Check it out. We have this weird crisscross applesauce connection. I'm not docking. Maybe. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Now comes the big one. This was the last stop of the day. We were exhausted. We'd been in the car together at that point for like probably 2 hours. We met some fun people. We've had a ton of fun conversations. We'd already spent a bunch of money. And so we were going into this last place, not really with like low expectations, but like kind of a it is what it is attitude. If we find cool stuff, awesome. If we don't find anything, who really cares? We already had a great day. Thing is though, and Mike confessed this to me in the car. So if you don't believe me, go to his video and ask him in the comment sections. He said he doesn't really like digging. He doesn't want to dig through comic boxes for like 3 or 4 hours. Who's got time for that? You know what I mean? He relies on the relationships of the owners and the other hunters that he meets to kind of like pool resources and find good books without having to hunch over a lot of books. Thing is though, I'm a big old worm just digging through the dirt. I love digging. And honestly, I hate when I watch haul videos and you see someone going like flip, 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 chunk flip, 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 chunk flip. And I think to myself, God, you literally just passed everything in the world. Like what in those big chunks could be anything. How dare you? So I'm the person I will go issue by issue and I will dig. And here's the thing. You might be like Mike and think, I don't have time for that. Every time I've ever gone digging like that, where I really get into the nitty gritty, I find gold. It's because that I don't have time for that chunks of flipping culture is so popular right now that people are missing all of these really great finds just because they're too lazy. After the finds Mike found, he's never going to do that again. He's going to go digging like a maniac. I know he is. So the store was beautiful. They had toys and games and all sorts of stuff, and it was great. You'll see the footage in a second. But here's what really shined for them: their customer service. I'm a 6'4", 321-pound nerd. And I'm loud and I tell jokes and I want to move stuff around. So if I get in your store and you've got like a pile of short boxes, right? I know for a fact everybody's going to look in those top 3 short boxes, but nobody's going to take the time to move them all and go to the ones in the bottom. I will if you let me. And so in this store, they had a big section with like, it looked like plywood, you know what I mean? Like a big plywood board. And there were long boxes all over it. But underneath that table, it was like a made up table, it's sitting on dozens of long boxes stuffed with comics. And there's no rhyme or reason. And they're all pre-priced. So there's no awkward dance of me finding books in these bins, going to the register, and then being like, no, sorry, I haven't priced these yet. No, they've all been priced. But the deal that we found, me and Mike, is that these books were priced clearly forever ago, like literally forever ago. Mike even says at one point in his video, I don't know if it's on his video, I haven't seen it yet. I'm filming this on Thursday. But he said at the time, he's like, these are like pre-pandemic prices. Like these were priced in like 1999, 2000. Where did we get these prices? Customer service win number one. They're letting me move their store around. I'm picking up boxes underneath. I'm putting them on tables where people had just previously been playing like a Star Wars Magic the Gathering or some bullshit like that. It sounded really stupid. A guy was like, oh, my Darth Vader for $4. I wanted to eat my own tongue. But I'm moving the boxes and I'm going through and I'm finding really cool stuff. But as we're talking, me and Mike, he's asking me, I think maybe for like B-roll footage on his camera, he's asking me like, hey, what are you looking for? Anything crazy? And just out loud, I say, I would love to find the Eagle Comics run for Judge Dredd. I really want to get those books. 10 minutes go by. We're digging. And one of their staff comes over with a stack of books and says, here you go. And it's literally the entire Eagle Comics run of Judge Dredd minus the last 2 issues, like 36 and 37, but like 1 through 35, and stacks of when they moved over to like the, I think it's called a quarterly or something. We'll see it in the footage when we do the breakdown, but another stack of a whole nother Judge Dredd series. So now I'm getting pre-pandemic book prices in these boxes, and I'm getting this Judge Dredd thing. At this point, I'm checked. I know I have everything I want, but I'm still helping Mike dig. And this is why it's really important that you go over and watch his version of this video on his channel, because I was finding lots of different like Marvel keys. And you know, look, if you're a Marvel reader, you know what the DC keys are. Most of them, right? That's kind of how this works. You're just exposed to it. You absorb a lot of this information by osmosis. It's the same thing with the Marvel books. I collect DC and Indie, but I know what the Marvel books look like. So I'm pulling out Marvel key after Marvel key, and Mike is just eating them all. Like, take them. I don't want them. But then the next thing, the owner of the store says to us, because we're having fun and we're making jokes and we've got cameras, he said, if the book is $25 or more, I will give you 10% off. However, if the book is less than $25, I will give you 20% off. Girl, we went ham. And so next I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to show you the footage of the store, what that looked like, and then we're going to cut over to the actual haul itself. Okay, so now on to That's Entertainment. I got this Creed. This is a independent comic book. $2.99. This is actually what I paid. When you see these stickers on these books, that's what I paid, because they honor their prices. Customer goddamn service. They killed it. This is any day of the week, a $40 book. It is brilliant condition. It's very low print run. And it was just sitting in a bin, waiting for someone to recognize it. And Ricky did, so Ricky snatched it up. Next, I got I Feel Sick issues, that's 2, and then issues 1. If you haven't watched this channel before and you don't know how much I love Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, that is a character and a production company, SLG, that stands for Slave Labor Graphics, and I care about them a great deal. I really like the work that they put out, and I Feel Sick is another 2-issue limited series that belongs in that family. This was just way too cool to leave in a bin forever. $1.99, New England Gothic #1, first edition. A lot of the books you're going to see that aren't Judge Dredd related are from the black and white boom. In the 80s, when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles made all of the money, a lot of smaller presses were saying, hey, we can make black and white comics too, kind of missing the point that it was the turtles that were fascinating, not just the medium itself. And so this, an 80s limited edition Viz Goth Studio. I love goth stories. I love goth aesthetic. And so a book like this is right at my alley. And for $2, get the hell out of here. I wasn't going to leave it to die. Okay, this next group of books, I'm freaking out about. I'm going to put them down here on the table so they're easy to grab. But these are all black and white boom wannabe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles books. And I found these all spread out throughout the boxes that we were digging through. So none of these were in like a pile. So I made a collection while I was digging. So like I said, these are all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles parody type books that came out at the same time as the Turtles. And look at this stuff. Laugh-In Gas, #1, Mutant Ninja Mutants, featuring adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters, The Untold Story, plus colossal nuclear bambino samurai snails, adolescent maniacal samurai hares, preteen dirty gene kung fu kangaroos, and radioactive wrestling rodents. Jesus wept. What a ridiculous thing to do, but I'm all about it. Next, and this is from Blackthorn Publishing, Cold-Blooded Chameleon Commandos. And then hard-hitting, fast-paced action like you've never seen before. Genetic mutation at its finest. Oh, my God. $2 each for these. These books that I'm pulling out now, they're just $2 a piece. Great condition, a little piece of history, and I'm sure they're horrible. I will definitely be doing a review on all of these books at one time. And then another, Blackthorn Publishing. Man, these guys couldn't get enough of ripping off the Turtles, huh? Alien Ducklings. Okay, let's do it. But this is the big one, boys. Are you ready? Can you even fathom the geriatric gangrene jujitsu gerbils? Oh yeah, this is what nightmares are made of. Look at this. There's 4 brothers clearly, and one of them couldn't even be fucked to stand up. This is just the best. This is just, and it's only like 49 cents more than cover price for when this came out in the 80s. It is fantastic condition, just brilliant condition. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to make a video out of these really, really hard. Next, when they came back with the Judge Dredd book pile for me, they also had these. Eagle Comics is the company that got the license for Judge Dredd in the United States. And aside from the main series that they were running that we'll get into in a second, they had these little runs, like 6-issue mega series. Judge Dredd Crime File 1 through 6 complete series. That was the price I paid, $24.99. Totally worth it. And yeah, these are just, this is, my God. Next, $20, issues 1 through 5, Eagle Comics, 5-issue mega series, The Judge Child Quest. All of these things, all of this, none of this is original stories. These are all reprints of the original Judge Dredd series from 2000 AD in Britain. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut to you, I'm going to cut to a clip right now where I was explaining to my internet friends why these reprints are so much better for a collector than the reprints you get from like the Marvel book reprints and all that stuff. I'm sorry if there's any shaking. It is windy as a mud outside in Maine today, and so it is what it is. But let's cut to that clip and I'll show you why these reprints are so awesome. We have this weird crisscross applesauce connection. I'm not docking, maybe. Now, before we get to the big ones, we get to these. This is Quarterly Comics. These are presumably the license holders that got the Judge Dredd books after Eagle Comics got rid of them. I did pay these prices, but remember, 20% off after we added everything up. I got issue 1, issue 2. I am the law. He's turning into like a werewolf. That's sick. Down Boy. That's a great picture of Dredd and the Lawmaster. Love that. That's the name of the bike, by the way, in case you didn't know. That's also a great picture of Dredd. These just have sick covers. Like, look at this one. This one I love. Not only is it a Christmas cover, face it, Juve. Face it, Juve. Juve means like youth in their language, in their future language, like juvenile. Face it, Juve. There is no Santa Claus. Seasonal 52-page giant size special. But I love the snow on top of the trade dress. That makes me so happy. Another great picture of Judge Dredd. Learn to love your law. You're breaking my heart, creep. You're beginning to get on my nerves, creep. And he's like just punching a bunch of dicks. That's a sick one too. You don't often see Dredd like afraid. Usually he's like the kick-ass guy on the cover. This is a gnarly one. Look at that violence. And then like the nuclear bombs going off in the background and everybody kind of melting. Dredd just being Dredd. This, America. Okay. Here come the big ones. This. Judge Dredd. Eagle Comics presents #1. These are the first license holders in the United States to have a comic size Judge Dredd picture. These are the first ones to have a comic-sized Judge Dredd release, and that is just such an iconic cover. And like I said, they got me the whole series with the last two. #2, 3. I have this turned around because I did a little Judge Death display on my 3 comics that I set up, and that was the one that I had out. This one's awesome. Come quietly or else there'll be trouble. And he's threatening some like Audrey 2 looking monster. Cursed Earth Saga. Welcome to the Cursed Earth. This guy meets a gnarly end. I've been reading the trades and I'm on volume 2. And this guy gets eaten by rats, which is awesome. This is when the judges take over the United States. Pretty cool. Satanus, a giant dinosaur that Judge Dredd fights. Judge Dredd getting shot up. A Dredd skull on a judge skull with like full of wires too. Look at all these wires. Like it's clearly like a cyborg or something that was going on. That's awesome. Judge Fish. This is a story where the chief judge, they call him Judge Cal, and it's Cal short for Caligula. And he's a psychopath, lunatic, weirdo, and he appoints this fish to be a judge because part of the story is him just losing his ever-loving mind. Look how skinny he looks in this one. I don't like it when he's super big, thick, chunky boy, but I also don't like it when he's like an emaciated, scarecrow-looking dude. Strike 1. To Fergie, her. Issue 13. No one apes the law, and it's all these monkey people. Dredd just look like it looks almost like he should have a different bottom, and his neck looks a little too long. It's sometimes they draw him pretty weird. This is the to me this is the best image of the lot. You never see Dredd smiling because the law doesn't have time to smile. And then all of these different candies, it is just a fantastic cover. This is my favorite. I'm going to declare it now. This is my favorite Eagle Comics run issue cover. Spooky creep with a rat. Rat's got a bowler derby. That's pretty awesome. Not going to lie, not crazy about that one. Also not crazy. I'm just not crazy in general. I think about the ones where Dredd is like a smaller figure than the action's going on. I mean, we're here for Dredd, you know what I mean? There you go. Getting fought on. That's a sweet little nuclear bomb cover like that. getting run over by a tank. I like that a bunch. Just him being ornery. There we go. That's like the Russian judges. Just a bunch of apocalypse. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Beautiful girl cover. That's awesome. What is that? Is that Dave? Is that Dave Stevens? Is that Dave Stevens? Is everybody gonna freak out? Oh, I hope that's Dave Stevens so everybody can freak out. No, all these covers, I think all of these covers are Brian Boland. And they do say it. Somewhere on the cover they always say Boland, if they're Brian Boland's. Judge Anderson. If you saw the Dredd movie with Carl Urban, this is the lady who was with him in that movie. She's a psi. You can see it here. She's a psi judge. She is psychic, and she's a confidant. I wouldn't say friend of Judge Dredd. He doesn't really have any friends. Time's ticking by, kid. You gonna survive, or is Judge Dredd gonna watch you become pieces? This is a cool cover, even though it isn't a Judge Dredd cover. It's just kind of gross. And then this is another one. I flipped it around to the back because it just had a really great picture of the Dark Judges. But then that's the actual cover of issue 31. Then we have Y'all Gonna Die, La Boy, on the Paw Angel Mark 1 Super Scream Torture Machine. And then 33, The League of Fatties, Hand Over the Grub, Bub. Nobody cared about being offensive back then. So there's only 2 issues missing, or 3 issues. I thought it ended at 36. Maybe it's only 35. My brain's telling me there's only 2, but that's all that was missing from this. Well, that was it. That was my day with Lunch Money Comics. That was my haul. It was such a fun time. I'm so happy to have been able to share this with you. And as per a personal request, I have a special send-off message from Mike at Lunch Money Comics. Take it away. We have this weird crisscross applesauce connection. I'm not docking. Maybe. I'm going to jump off a bridge. Okay, I was going to end it on that joke, but I felt I felt shitty for not including that information on why the Judge Dredd reprints are actually worth reading. So we're going to end it here just so I don't rip off Judge Dredd. He deserves the time. Okay, so this is a reprint that people can get behind. So this is from January 1980, Prog 149 of 2080. This is the first appearance of Judge Death. Here he is, and here he is reaching into the guy's chest, and he's doing the chesty grab thing. You know, it's the whole thing, right? Well, 3 years later, in the American comic book reprint, in 1983, November 1983, they released all of the original Judge Dredd stories in color in these reprints, and boom, there it is. Same panels, same flipping panels, but now with all of this additional color. They recolored everything. So this is an example of a reprint that I think is worthy of collecting because it just adds so much more to your experience of the story.